Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we are going to be doing some shorter-term technical analysis on Bitcoin, but we're also going to be diving in to some very important fundamental developments on Bitcoin. We're not only going to be talking about fundamental bullishness on Bitcoin, we're also going to be talking about a very unfortunate event that happened to the exchange called KuCoin later on in today's video. I do apologize for missing yesterday's video, but as you can see, we are back. I'm still missing my hair light because it is sitting at the new set, which, by the way, yes, I've heard all of your complaints about the different camera angles and the audio. First video, we're getting it worked out. By the way, as soon as we're ready to fully move into the new set, this sign is coming with us, so we're going to keep that sign. Needn't fear, it'll start showing up at the new set in a few days. Anyway, guys, we've got a lot to make up for, especially since we missed yesterday's video, so without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Guys, you'd be surprised how much a break is helpful for me because I feel so pumped and excited to make videos right now. Not that I'm not normally, but I have been so tired, guys. We've been working so hard behind the scenes this month, and I'm very proud of everybody that we're working with. Shout out to Taylor, who's editing this video, and shout out to everybody else who's on the team, guys. You're going to meet all of them relatively soon, but we'll get into all of that in a dedicated office tour video, which will be coming out in the next few weeks. For now, though, we need to go ahead and jump on to the chart. Guys, as you can see, the last 3 days on Bitcoin have seen quite a bit of sideways price action, and in doing so, we've set a new support level around $10,700. And this is a very important support level because it also coincides with the 20 exponential moving average, which Bitcoin is currently attempting to get above. Now, as you guys will probably know, Bitcoin did have a bounce on the MACD line down here on our MACD indicator, which means that Bitcoin did not actually cross bearish like we thought it was going to. These two lines are now diverging again in a bullish way, and this is a good thing, but we need to see how long it's going to last. Because what we're looking at right now, guys, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, we are seeing quite a lot of sideways trading with a little bit of bullishness. Not a lot of bullishness with a little bit of sideways. We are seeing straight up sideways price action with a little bit of a hint of bullish hope. And the reason it's important that I bring that to your attention is because I don't want you guys getting all hyped up thinking Bitcoin's about to go into a big old rally. I'm going to go invest my life savings because Bitcoin has not actually defined a trend yet. I will go ahead and show you why I think when it does define that trend, which it hasn't done yet, it will be bullish. First of all, Bitcoin's RSI is moving sideways. It's sitting at the 50 level, which is prime territory for either an uptrend or a downtrend. This is very neutral. MACD is still below the 0 level, so if Bitcoin even so much as trades sideways, we will still be bullish on the MACD because sideways trading will naturally reset oscillators to their 0 levels. MACD got pulled back so far a couple of weeks ago that it is now trying to return to that 0 level. So if Bitcoin does start moving to the upside at all, it has the backing of the MACD, and the RSI has room to run. I already mentioned it, but obviously, as you guys can see, Bitcoin is trying to get above the 20 daily EMA, but we need to be careful in assuming that that's all we need to do because, as you can see, Bitcoin attempted that not that long ago, and we didn't manage to stay above it. And one more thing I do want to mention is that of the last 4 days, 3 of these candlesticks have been green, one of them being a massive green candlestick on September 24th. And if we look on Heikin-Ashi, you can see that we have gone bullish. We have turned green. Now, if you know anything about Heikin-Ashi, you will know this lower shadow right here is not a good thing. It's a sign that if we continue trading sideways, we may see a red candle on the Heikin-Ashi, but for now, it is green. And even going all the way down to the hourly chart, I want to point out something that's moderately neutral, somewhat bullish on Bitcoin, and that is that over the last several days on the hourly chart, Bitcoin has maintained support above the 20 daily EMA, the 20 hourly EMA. We fell below it, and now we've rallied back up above it at the time of recording this video, which is noon Eastern Standard Time. So what does all this mean for Bitcoin? Well, it means that Bitcoin is trading sideways. It means that the bulls and the bears are at a deadlock. It means that there's not a lot of interest in this market right now. And it means that Bitcoin is going to more than likely, relatively soon, have something big happen. As I talked about in a previous video, whenever you're like driving down a long road and you see that stoplight way off in the distance and you see it's green, you're like, crap, because by the time you get there, it's going to be red. It's the same thing in cryptocurrency markets. If the red light is right now, the red light being sideways price action with nothing going on, it's red right now, then what we're looking at in the future is a green light, which is good because, I don't know about you, I hate sitting at red lights. Whenever Bitcoin is sitting like this, we can tell that because there's low volatility now, since we know that markets are cyclical, the market will bring volatility back, whether that's bullish or bearish, in the somewhat near future. And based on the technicals that we're seeing, I think that might be a couple of weeks from now, but when it does happen, based on what we've talked about, I think it will be bullish. So that's my 2 cents on Bitcoin. I foresee some more sideways price action on Bitcoin until we break one of these two levels. either $11,150 or we break below $10,000. Until we break either this line right here or this line right here, Bitcoin is just going to continue trading sideways and it's going to continue being boring. That being said, keep in mind, the boring times in Bitcoin are good because it means that if you're not up to snuff in your trading capabilities, you're not missing anything. These times right here are not times to say, Bitcoin's being boring, I'm going to go play in the stock market for the next 2 months until Bitcoin starts being interesting again. What you need to be doing in times like this is investing in your education in charting, analysis, fundamental analysis, everything like that, because you're not missing much. Now is the time to be educating yourself, because as I've always said, the best investment you'll ever make is one in yourself. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump on to some news. This is an article that is quite long and that I would love to go over in detail, but for the sake of your time, I'm not going to do that. I will, however, link both of these articles in the description down below. Ultimate Bitcoin bull case. Trader says 23 factors show rally is due. A pseudonymous Bitcoin trader outlined 23 key technical and fundamental factors that could buoy Bitcoin's medium-term bull case, which is exactly what we were just talking about. Short-term sideways, medium-term bullishness. One of the first things he talks about is the Bitcoin futures market is neutralizing. I'm not going to get into that. You can see down with this chart right here kind of what he's talking about. The cryptocurrency market is less leveraged. This is a good thing because, as you guys know, when there's a ton of leverage in the market, it makes swings not as predictable because movements can happen much quicker on much less foundation than they otherwise would. Key on-chain indicators show that the market is no longer overheated, and that's one of the things that we just talked about is that as Bitcoin has started trading sideways, a lot of things are resetting. The RSI, for example, MACD, for example, Bollinger Bands, trend lines, I already said RSI, the Fear and Greed Index, many things are neutralizing, and they're not being overheated, as was mentioned in this article. But the one that I really want to touch on here, guys, is this one right here. Fundamentals are strengthening because all of these other on-chain indicators, they talk about Fear and Greed Index right here, all of these other indicators, I encourage you to look into all of them, but the one that gets me the most excited are the fundamentals. Because, for example, let's say you're going to invest in Apple stock. I'm talking about a long-term investment. You're not planning on selling your Apple stock for 10 or 20 years. Are you going to look at what's happening with the new iPhone release, or are you going to look at the shift in their long-term business model? You're going to look at the thing that is going to have a longer-term impact, and the fundamentals are what is going to have a longer-term impact on Bitcoin, not the new release of something. Everything mentioned in this article that are not fundamentals should not just be ignored. They are important indicators, and they should be part of your analysis. But I personally, and I think for your sake, you should be too, should be more interested in the long-term fundamentals of Bitcoin, because I don't know about you, I'm not planning on leaving in the next 5 or 10 years. I'm planning on being here in the next 5 or 10 years, which means that I'm most interested in the fundamentals, not necessarily medium-term technicals. And this point right here, the long-term fundamentals, is something that we've talked about many, many times on this channel. They are getting a lot stronger. We're seeing more active addresses right now than we have at almost any point in the history of Bitcoin. More people than ever know the word Bitcoin. There's more investment going into blockchain and cryptocurrency startups than ever before. Fundamental developments on Bitcoin with the Lightning Network, Litecoin, on Ethereum with DeFi and the Byzantine, all these things. There is so much going on. DeFi, there are so many projects, so many fundamentals that have been strengthening ever since we hit 20K back in 17, and Bitcoin is going to respond to those in the long term. So guys, at the end of this video, I want you to remember, even though I'm about to mention a pretty bad piece of news, I want you to know the long term for Bitcoin is bright. No matter what Bitcoin does, I need you to have faith in the process that Bitcoin will respect those fundamentals in the same way that any market would. No matter whether you get bored in the next couple of weeks because Bitcoin trades sideways, or if Bitcoin has some massive flash crash a few $1,000s, I want you to understand the long-term fundamentals on Bitcoin are bright and they should not be ignored. With that said, let's jump on to one more news article and we're going to wrap it out. Not your keys, not KuCoins. Red flags ignored. A dizzying lack of transparency as the crypto exchange is hacked, and $150 million in customer funds goes missing. If you guys saw my post on Twitter or on the community tab of this YouTube channel back on Friday, I was asking you guys, what do you think, and by the way, if you want to answer this in the comment section, I would still love some more answers to this. What do you think are some of the most important things to tell someone before they've even gotten into the space? What do people need to know, absolutely need to know within the first 30 days? And one of them that we talked about a lot, or excuse me, that you guys brought up a lot, is the idea of not your keys, not your coins. If you don't have the keys to your cryptocurrency, it's not your cryptocurrency, which is why you don't want to leave money on exchange. Sadly, we have just seen a hack on KuCoin for $150 million, and the insurance fund on that site is now being kicked into effect. Problem is, $150 million is a lot of money, and even if they have enough money to cover that in the insurance fund, that is still going to be a big hit to the reputation of KuCoin and to their business, because Who wants to give up $150 million to cover their customers' losses when it was their fault in the first place? Now, I'm not going to get into everything that happened here. I'll let you guys do that on your own. But I do want to make 2 points here at the end of this video. Number one, obviously, as I just said, follow the old maxim, not your keys, not your coins. Keep your cryptocurrency on a cold wallet or even a paper wallet if you want to. I keep mine on Exodus, and I'm about to move all of it to Ledger. I do have a lot of it on Ledger. I'm about to move all of it onto a Ledger Nano S, which we have links for in the description down below, by the way. But the second thing I want to remind you guys of kind of ties into everything that's been going on this year. Obviously, you guys know this has been a rough year for many people. It has not been easy financially, physically, mentally, relationally, economically. This has been a trying year for all of us. And I want you guys to realize, and I'm going to use this article as an example, shit hits the fan sometimes, and that is just part of life. It's unfortunate, but we need to understand that things are not always going to go right. Bitcoin is going to crash 60% in a day sometimes. Bitcoin is going to pull back. An exchange is going to get hacked. You're going to lose Bitcoin. You're going to send money to the wrong address, and you're going to lose it. Things are going to go wrong. I think it's very important that we set expectations from the get-go that things are not always going to be perfect. It is not always going to be easy in crypto. It's not always going to be easy in life. No one ever promised that life was going to be easy, but what has been promised is that if you work your ass off, you might get something for that work. Might. So guys, I want you to understand this is not always going to be easy. This, in fact, I would say is going to be hard more often than not to succeed in cryptocurrency, to succeed in life. But I would much rather work very hard on my terms, be rewarded for it, and then be able to have the challenges that I face be up to my decision rather than not work in the first place and then be at the whims of the currents and the tides of this world that we are in, which is so likely to destroy us if we're not careful. I'm making a case for hard work, I'm making a case for faith in the process, and I'm making a case for self-education because that's what changed my life, and I know it can change yours, guys. I will always encourage you, invest in your mind, invest in your abilities, invest in your work ethic and your ownership, and read books, do whatever you can to get ahead of the curve and learn. Learn. Always be improving, always be progressing, because anyone who is staying flat is going down. You can't stay flatlined and actually make progress because everybody else is going up. You need to be also. With that being said, though, guys, I do just really want to thank you guys for everything that's gone on in the last 3 years. We're coming up on the 3rd birthday of this channel. Oh, man, mind blown. There is so much stuff going on behind the scenes. And like I said, you guys are going to start to see some of it as we go. If you guys click the sales page link to CT2A down below, you'll see we have a new sales page, our new branding. All that new branding will be coming to this channel relatively soon. You can see it live over on our Twitter. Follow me at CryptoJeb on Twitter. I'd love to get you guys' take on many things in the future because I'm going to try and make the progress that we're doing here on the channel as interactive with you guys as possible, and the best way to do that is over on Twitter. So go ahead and follow us there. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and also hit that like button. It does help out the channel when you do that. But anyway, guys, that is going to wrap it out for today's video. Before I go, though, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.